guys? Nick Wood here, the king of digital real estate. I want to tell you guys about the very first website I ever built. It was in a niche that I no longer endorse, towing, and it was in a city that I was living in at the time because I was doing door-to-door sales. But what's crazy and what I want to tell you guys is I was able to flip this website. I built it. I spent less than 10 hours building the entire project out, ranked it, made money along the way, and sold this sucker for $9,000 a couple years later. I'm going to tell you guys the story about that, okay? Now, first and foremost, I want to let you know I'm not a big fan of towing. There's multiple reasons. I've got multiple videos on this channel talking about why I don't like that niche, and I haven't been in that niche for 3-4 years. I have clients that still pay me in that niche, but it's not something I'm actively looking to do deals in. I don't like it, okay? Low ticket. Business owners aren't usually they're not growth mindset amongst a couple of reasons. Okay. And while just a second here, let me get a swig here. What a day. So what happened is this, guys. I was sitting in this city in Alabama, and I was knocking door to door. And I decided I was going to start building a side hustle. I was going to start doing rank and rent. I was going to go and build assets and start renting them out. And I've talked about this before, but my schedule was very rigorous. I would go 2 to 9, knocking doors, knock, 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 selling alarm systems. I was 100% commission. Wife was back here in Utah, where I'm sitting right now, getting ready to have our second child. And my schedule was 2 to 9. I was knocking doors. I would stop by Chipotle on the way home after I went to the gym, come back, shower, eat my food, pull open my laptop, and I would go to work. And I would spend from about 10-ish, sometimes a little bit later, until midnight working on my business, working on trying to build these assets. So for those of you that are complaining you don't have time, I don't know what your job is, but I can't help but think it probably wasn't as hard as knocking door to door. I know that's not as physically demanding as some of your jobs, but mentally, and confidence-wise, man, it was a kick in the teeth every single day. Talk about coming home and wanting to just veg and eat popsicles and get in the bath. That's the job for it. But I knew I needed to start building something. So what did I do is even back then, years and years ago, I understood that, like, yes, I could go and try and figure this out and go to YouTube and all this different stuff, but I could just go and buy a program that taught me everything from somebody who already knew how, right? Also, guys, I didn't know at this time, I didn't know what SEO stood for. I didn't know that the www dot whatever was called a domain. I just thought it was called a website, right? I didn't know about backlinks. I didn't know about content. I didn't know about anything. And I certainly wasn't a WordPress guru. I'm telling you all these things because some of you guys are on this channel, you're in my groups, you're in my Discord, and you guys are like, yeah, that works, but I don't know how to do tech. Me either. I still don't, man. Like, I'm still learning. My game is that I am very good at getting people to pay me. I'm very good at getting deals, and I'm very good at finding cities where I don't have to be that good at tech. And obviously, I think you guys probably know by now, I downplay that a lot because that's just kind of my MO. I do know what I'm doing, but it took me 6 years to get to where it probably would take you less than that to get to where I'm at. Like, I obviously have ranked many, many, many sites, but I'm not considering myself a top tier 10 out of 10 SEO. Okay. I want to just set the record straight. I am not that guy. I don't really enjoy the tech side. I enjoy talking to business owners, doing deals, and building my empire. Okay. Anyway, so what happened is I went through this program and I was lazy. I was super lazy. And I decided, you know what? I'm just going to choose towing because people are talking about towing. And I'm going to choose this city that I'm living in because I'm living in this city. I did not do proper due diligence. I didn't look at anything. I looked at one keyword. I don't even know if I actually did the entire assessment of that city. And I just sent it. And luckily, thank goodness, I got lucky. Like the due diligence was pretty good, but it wasn't because I knew what I was looking for. I didn't really have a good framework for what was a good city, what wasn't. But the city I chose, the city I happened to live in, was low-hanging fruit. It was a city where it wasn't that hard to rank. And so guess what? Every night I started doing the thing. I started doing the thing and doing the backlinks, doing the content, making some tweaks. And I even went, guys, this is back in the days when you could go and do the P.O. Box thing and all this stuff for the GMB, right? And this website eventually ranked in my very first deal. I remember starting to get some leads. And I remember sending my very first lead to this guy named Brandon. I was sitting in church and I got the lead and I looked at my wife and she's like, "Don't you dare answer that call, Nick. We're here. It's Sunday." And I looked at her and I was like, I got to answer this call. And I went out and I may have missed a few minutes of Sunday school, but I was like, there's no way I'm already getting leads. This actually works. And sure enough, it was a lead. One thing led to another. I didn't end up selling that guy, but I ended up selling another guy in town. Walked away with this. I think it was a $700 per. This is back in 2016, guys. This has been years and years. $700 per month deal. I actually went into their shop and sold them in person, and because that's what I was used to. And I walked away with a $700 check. And I remember calling my dad and going, "Hey, I just got another deal." He's like, "Yeah, that's great." I'm like, "No, not an alarm deal. I just got this deal where I'm selling leads to this company, and it's $700 per month." Per month, Dad. I don't have to go and knock another door. I just get paid $700. He's like, "Dude, that's impressive." And he was really intrigued because he didn't really understand it. I don't think he still does. That's okay. My dad's a farmer. My dad works his butt off. He just doesn't really do the internet thing. Okay. Anyway, I got this deal, and that website to this day is cranking. It's still ranking, still pulling in leads. But here's what I want to share with you is a couple years later, I was in some bad financial shape because after getting a deal, I got another deal. And then I went and chased a freaking stupid software company idea that I had, which I've created another video on. You guys will enjoy here on this channel. If I haven't posted already, watch for it. But I went and chased a software idea, which landed me $60,000 in debt. So a few years later, as I was trying to just stay afloat, I met somebody who was looking to acquire assets. They were looking to buy existing properties with business owners already in place and get tax benefits, right? And so I told this individual, I said, "Hey, I'm willing to sell you a website." And so we started going through it. And I was able, we came up with something that was fair. We took how much I was getting paid. We took some kind of multiple. I looked at how much I was spending to keep it active. And we came up with a price, and that price we settled on was $9,000. $9,000, which seemed like a massive amount of money to me at the time. Now, obviously, now I'm ticked that I sold an asset because that thing could still and should still be paying me. But at the time, I needed the cash. And I was able to sell this thing. So think about it, guys. I spent less than 10 hours building this website when I was learning, going through my first program that I built, or that I went through, that I bought. I built this website out. I went and got the deal. And then I made money on this deal. Now, I didn't make money the entire time because that client eventually canceled and I had to find another one. But I made money off and on the entire time. So I recouped my cost plus my time. And then I was able to sell this thing for $9,000. So the message here today is like, it's absolutely insane that not only do these assets produce income every single month and take not that long to build and not that much money to actually build out, but they're tangible assets that people are willing to pay cold, hard cash for. So if I'm looking at all the other business models, drop shipping and FBA and all these things, this is something where, let's say one day you decide to exit. Let's say one day you decide you're done, which once you get this thing in place and it's on autopilot, you're never going to want to sell. I'm never going to want to sell a website. And if I am, it's like, there's got to be something wrong with it, right? Because I don't want to sell assets. I want to build, buy, and create assets for the rest of my life. That's how we get wealthy. But it's cool knowing that, like, if I needed to, if push came to shove and I was in a bad situation, I needed to come up with some cash, I have things that people want. I have income producing assets that people actually want. And the mind-blowing part about this is my very first project I ever did. And it took me less than 10 hours. I was less than 10 hours into the build of this website, a few more hours getting it sold. For 10 hours, I made, I don't know how much for a few years, and then $9,000 exiting and just selling that website over to somebody else. So guys, once again, another beautiful day at the Rank and Rent Factory, the Rent then Rank Factory. The hay is ready to harvest, guys. The sun is shining. Why aren't you involved? That I don't know. I'm screaming from the housetops. I'm screaming from the rooftops. I'm over there scooping them up. What are you waiting for?